Yo, what are you playing?
Playing my Neo Geo.
But we're filming, man.
Exactly.
Have you started?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Dude, we're filming.
Sorry.
Yeah, how rude can you be while we're filming? Of the thousands in attendance and the millions watching at home.
Sorry guys. I'm back.
Alright, cool. You do?
I'm good.
Cool. Hey guys, welcome to episode number 6 of the A to Z with SRG. Our best friend Ryan here is back. How you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. Thank you for having me again. Appreciate it so much. Repping today as well.
Why not?
Cool, man.
You know, we've got to
Repping the t-shirt?
rep that when we can.
Looks good.
It fits good. Yeah, comfortable.
I better get one.
Yeah.
Alright, so guys, the topic for today is the NEO GEO. Cheers. Over there. Now, we're going to hand over to our resident NEO GEO gamer, Z right here. Z, tell us about the NEO GEO. Well, like, what was it about? When did it come out? So the people at home know
The NEO GEO. So the one that you see in front of you guys, this is not actually the original NEO GEO. Excuse me, Ryan.
No problem.
This is part of the NEO GEO Gold, or NEO GEO X Gold. It's basically a handheld device which plugs into this. This is basically like a caddy. So the reason why we've got the Switch there, this came out a long time before the Switch did. This came out in 2012, this particular model. And it's the same theory as that. This plugs into your TV. You've got HDMI out over here, AV out, and then a DC in. This basically, you plug it in, slot it in there, you close the lid. As soon as you do that, it goes straight to your TV.
Cool.
Then, you're like, I want to go out, I want to go for a cup of coffee. You plug it off, and off you go, and you carry on playing the game exactly as it was before. That's what this is about. And it's one of the very first sort of portable plus home caddy device that you can use. The NEO GEO itself started in the 90s.
Okay.
So SNK, the guys who made the original NEO GEO, they created this device to compete with the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive, or in the US, the Sega Genesis. And graphically, from a sound perspective, it was vastly superior. And the price was equally vastly superior.
Fair enough.
The original SNK NEO GEO AES, as it's known, was about £500 or £600 back in the 90s.
Whoa.
Which I think today is about £1,200.
That's a lot.
Something like that, £1,300,
Whoa.
including inflation. So if you think about it, if you're at school, if you're at college, you're not buying this, you're going to have a Master System in theirs, you might be upgrading to a SNES, right?
Yeah.
So it's targeted to adults.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my PS5 was what, £500. The Xbox Series S is about £400 or £500. So the fact that was £500 in the mid 90s,
It's crazy.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's unbelievable amount of money. The games are equally expensive. They are now, don't quote me on this, but I think they were about £80 for a game.
Whoa.
Back then.
Back then. Now the games are like £300.
What?
Very expensive. Very expensive.
Whoa.
So you said games. So from the competitors that I had, what would you say was their best kind of like main selling games?
That's a really good question. So some of the famous games, they're actually on this pack here. It's called the NEO GEO Mega Pack Volume 1. It came with the NEO GEO X as an add-on, but that's got like 20 games built into it.
Okay.
So some of the really famous ones that you might have heard of is King of Fighters.
Yeah, we just watched.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Samurai Showdown, that was a really famous one as well. Metal Slug and Metal Slug 2.
Shooting one, isn't it?
Yeah, so sideways scrolling. They were probably some of the most famous ones. And some of the other games that you guys might have heard of, let's say Shock Troopers was a really good one, World Heroes 2 Jet. You got Super Sidekicks 3, which is a football game, which is something for you boys. But and then you had Art of Fighting as well.
Okay.
Really famous games that sort of came out. But if you guys look them up on YouTube and you look at the visuals, they're so superior to what we were playing on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive of the day, which is why at the time this was the original AES for me was the most coveted device. A friend of mine, someone I knew, friend of a friend, he had one,
Right.
and he wouldn't let us play it. We were allowed to go around and watch.
spectators.
Yeah, but we were not allowed to actually play the game.
In any particular reason why, or?
It was just a, you know.
Fair enough. Enough said.
Anyway,
Moving on very
So
quickly.
He wasn't a nice guy. That's what it was. But yeah, and to this day, I've never owned the original AES because it is ridiculously expensive even today. I think to get a second-hand one is about £800, £900. I think.
Jesus.
I bought this in 2017. I paid £90 for it.
right.
Today, if you got a box one of these and you got the joystick over there, if you bring that up, Ryan, let's show that to people.
There you go. So
It's basically a replica of the original AES. It looks pretty much the same. I don't think it's very good quality. It's very tinny, plasticky. I appreciate that it's hollow, but it just doesn't feel nice to use.
Right.
I mean, you were having a go earlier on. What do you think?
It just felt, like you said, it felt really cheap, but I'm guessing that's because it's not the original.
Yeah.
So
So in comparison, what would the original have felt like? What this
weight
is
heavy or
It's
plastic,
heavier.
yeah.
It's got better quality build. The materials that it's made out of, like the plastic that this is made out of, just feels cheap. So if you can think of, let's say, go back to Nintendo NES,
right.
that sort of material is what people were used to. Then
The
it
hard.
upgraded. Yeah, it sort of had some weight to it.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Like you were saying that you felt like you're going to break it.
Yeah, it felt a bit flimsy.
Yeah, it feels very, very flimsy. I wish I could show you guys how this sort of feels, but it just doesn't feel like there's any weight.
It feels
to
like
it.
it's hollow. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
it'll be able to control anything. Like if you was to play it, it wouldn't do anything. Like pressing the buttons. We're normally used to hearing kind of like,
a nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't really feel like that when you use it.
See, whereas
Yeah.
this
felt
this
nice.
is built really nice.
Yeah, this is actually what I feel like when you're playing, you can actually feel like you're pressing buttons.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the portable side of it is what they concentrated on rather than the joystick
Correct.
and stuff, because
Yeah.
you'd want people, obviously the way games are played now, I don't want to get you on your rant, obviously we want it to be all portable, so they targeted that to say you can play it on the go, and if you would like, you can connect it up to one of these.
Yeah, that's right. And if you think about it, in 2012, that's a great way to sort of bring a segue into, you can play the game at home and you can play when you're out and about.
Yeah.
Hello, Nintendo Switch. Sega Nomad did something similar with it. You
Right.
know, Sega Nomad, you could walk around with the actual device itself, come home, plug it in, goes up onto the TV. Same concept. Nintendo wasn't the first ones to do it, but they've done it very, very well. Maybe because it's the right time, people are more accepting to mobile technology and walking around it because mobile phones, and maybe we weren't ready for this sort of devices. Even though the Game Boy and the Game Gear were around for a long time, maybe this wasn't released at the right time because of the way this was designed. I don't know.
Price maybe back then as well for it. The Game Boy wasn't that expensive when it came out.
That's
Maybe
a
was
good
it?
question. I think in 2012, I think that was about 150 to 200 pounds. I think
Still quite.
it's a chunk of money.
If you haven't heard it, or someone like yourself, if you've heard of it, then you'll be like, wow, this is like a good thing. Like, I didn't hear of it, so when you're asking like 200 maybe plus for something I've heard, I'll be like, nah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be looking into that.
Yeah, so for me, if this was £200, I'd wanted a Neo Geo growing up because
Yeah,
of
exactly.
the game shows and stuff. Some of the games were quality, but I'm like, am I really going to play? At that time, in 2012, I was like, am I going to play this? Or am I going to play like this? Or am I going to play my PlayStation or something else? So
The PlayStation is actually one of the reasons why this died.
break it down.
So the original AES was massively overpriced, very, very powerful, had some amazing features at the time. So SNK were originally designers of arcade machines. So the technology that you got in the original AES was very, very similar to the same boards that you got in arcade machines.
Sweet.
So one of the features that you had of the SNK, I don't know if they've got it on this one, maybe not. No, they haven't actually put it up on this design. But you used to have a card slot in the middle here on the side, and you could save your games on there, unplug it, walk down to the arcade, plug it in and carry on playing, but playing at the arcade with your friends.
No way.
That was a really good thing that they did, and that was one of the things I was like, I wish I had a Neo Geo back in the days. 'cause I could do
Yeah,
that.
of course.
But it was overpriced. it didn't get the massive amount of following that it should have done, and they stuck to pixels. Now, from a graphics perspective, hugely popular device because it was so much better than the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive. But Super Nintendo went the way of the dinosaur, N64 turned up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Then Mega Drive disappeared, and what came out? You had the Sega Saturn, then you had the Dreamcast, but then you had the PlayStation. And they were all more reasonably priced. We'd moved into polygon graphics, which is what we're more used to today. Unfortunately, SNK didn't have that foresight.
Right.
They didn't move into polygon graphics. They didn't move on. They were like, no, we're going to stick to pixels and get massive depth in that. And they did it really well, but the world moved on.
I have a question for you with the games on this. So, what was the main games on this, and what was the main competitors' games that they was releasing at the time to combat that?
Good question. So one, I think the really good example on that would be something like Streets of Rage.
Excellent game, by the way.
It is an excellent game. It's a top game. So you got Street Fighter.
Yeah, which
Street
is
Fighter 2.
Yeah,
exactly. And then you got King of Fighters, Art of Fighting. They're the games that were sort of ones that people always talked about. They were the ones that I heard about a lot.
Right.
King of Fighters, Art of Fighting. Metal Slug 2 was a really good game as well, sideways scrolling. To me, that's like Contra 3 and Super Pro Protector. They were really, really good ones. And then there was a shoot 'em up on this, which I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a prelude to R-Type, Blazing Star.
Ooh, okay.
It's a prelude to that. So they had some really good games, but from the point of volume, they got beaten because they were just too expensive.
Damn, okay. It'll be definitely fun to try out, because again, I've never played on one. I don't know if you...
No, I've never heard of it, but never
It's right here, guys. Go for it.
Let's go.
I've never really played any of them, so...
Cool. Look, thanks for that, Z. But before we go,
Yeah.
got to give a shout out to Cam. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Cam.
What did you get? What did you get, Cam? You had to have got a sign. What did you get?
Yeah, so we've got a Super Retro Gaming WhatsApp group, and in that group, I was like, Cameron, that's his full name for everyone else, Cam. Have you still got your Atari Jaguar? And he's like, yeah, I still got it. It's packed away. And I was like, cool. Do you have the CD drive to it? And he's like, no. So I bought him a CD drive.
Nice.
So then I sort of plug on at the top. Didn't get a game for it though, because the game was like £100.
Next birthday.
Yeah. Christmas. Supposed to be Christmas.
Oh yeah.
I've got to save up. But maybe. Cam, let me know what game you want, and apparently one of these two is going to help me fund your Christmas present.
Yeah, Andy.
Did you see how that he dropped that in there?
Got to plug when you can.
Well, look, man. Again, thanks Z for that.
Pleasure.
And hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Take care, guys.
Take care,
Hello, guys.
Bye.
Bye.